School enrollment. Is it as bad as Dr. Mahoney alludes to in his board presentation? Let's dig into the numbers and find out. Welcome back to the Impact 220 channel, where our mission is to empower both the Oregon School District and the community to inspire impactful changes that enhance the overall educational experience of our children. Today, we are going to address a topic Dr. Mahoney so adamantly pointed out and was a large portion of his argument at the last board meeting, which is school enrollment. Yet again, he throws around numbers as a scare tactic, hoping no one fact-checks his statistics. Well, we are. First, he put up a chart showing the current/projected K-12 enrollment. Here's that slide for you right now. Man, does he spin a good web of statistical BS. There's absolutely no way you can predict 8 years into the future using a 1-year average of enrollment from the first 6 grade levels. That's like taking 6 random stock prices at this moment in time and predicting the future growth rate of the entire Dow Jones 8 years from now. I mean, if he's that good, what is he doing as a superintendent in rural Illinois? Sounds like he should be working for Wall Street. But in all seriousness, he did not take into account any historical data. So we did that for him, utilizing the Illinois Interactive Report Card enrollment data. On the screen now are the last 6 years of enrollment, going back to 2016. We color-coded the data so you can decipher cohort information quickly. There's a natural ebb and flow to the size of each class, with some being smaller and others being larger, but overall, enrollment does not change and is pretty much flat to slightly increasing over the last 5 years. So we use this historical data to then forecast future enrollment using a linear regression forecast model. And here are the results. Based on actual statistical modeling, you can see that the predictive forecast for future enrollment is not going down, but instead increasing. And interestingly enough, if you look at the data from pre-kindergarten, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and third grade in 2021, and compare that same group of kids from 8th grade to 12th grade in 2030, our predictions show that we would go from 507 students in those 5 classes to 501 students in those 5 classes. So pretty much flat, same kind of changes we've seen historically year over year. So again, it doesn't really make sense how Dr. Mahoney's coming up with his numbers, besides the fact that he did not use actual statistical analysis and instead used arbitrary numbers, non-historical data, and threw up figures that would just scare the board and scare the community to sell his story. Now, if the district doesn't improve the test scores and as the information becomes more and more transparent to future homebuyers and young families, we may see a decrease in enrollment. But that's not because of geographic or economic factors. That's because the school district is failing its students and the community as a whole. After he used his erroneous figures for the current/projected K-12 enrollment, Dr. Mahoney then spoke about how Illinois has lost over 113,000 residents, or 0.9%, in 1 year alone. Okay, but how about more locally? In that same period, Ogle County lost only 138 residents, or 0.27%. Seems a little misleading, no? And definitely not a scenario where we need to be jumping to rash conclusions and closing down an entire school, a $30-something million asset. After he spoke globally with the Illinois statistics, he then brought up a slide that showed the Illinois Department of Health statistics for Ogle County's birth rates. But not quite sure what his argument here was. Long-term average is flat, and the last 2 years have been increasing. So we have to ask, what is your point? I'm not trying to be sarcastic here, but really, what is the point he's trying to make? If you remove his lies and statistical jargon he uses to glaze over the topic, his entire argument, it's unfounded, it's baseless. We can keep playing this game, and we can go in circles where he comes up with insignificant arguments for his course of action, and we can continue to keep disproving him. But other than leaving his mark on the community, we cannot see his purpose of closing DLR. The irony of this whole situation is, David L. Ron, in which the junior high is named after, was a man who not only had one school named after him, but when the first school burnt down, the community valued his legacy so much, they changed the name of another school to continue to honor him. Maybe if Dr. Mahoney had taken a play out of David L. Ron's playbook and actually worked to improve the district over his tenure while at OCUSD, he wouldn't be scrambling to leave his mark with this one campus dream he has, and he could have improved the Hawk community as a whole. But instead, he's going to leave it bruised and battered for the community to repair and carry the burden as he rides off into his retirement come 2024. As always, thank you for sticking around and joining us today. Don't forget, the Board of Education is re-voting on February 22nd, 2022. This is one of those events that the more people who show up, the more impactful the statement. Don't be passive and hope others show up on your behalf. Be the change you want to see, and show up to show the administration and the Board of Education we care as a community. If you haven't already, go to impact220.com and sign the petition to save DLR. The link is in the description below. Don't forget to smash that like button, ring the bell to subscribe, and like us on Impact 220 on Facebook. And again, thank you for tuning in.